Welcome to episode 78. I'm Stuart McCullough, I'm the CEO of VHIA. And starting with this week's Industrial Roundup and with community health in particular. Bargaining for community health has moved mostly into the drafting phase. That's true for the proposed agreement for allied health professionals, health and allied managers and admin, as well as medical scientists covering dietitians, psychologists and pharmacists. The one outstanding agreement for that sector concerns the general dentists. There is more bargaining planned for general dentists this Friday. With respect to our health service members, on Monday there is bargaining with respect to biomedical engineers. On Tuesday there is more nurse unit manager consultation. We're also pleased to be attending an event at the Arts Centre for strengthening hospitals' responses to family violence. We'll be participating in a panel discussion for that event. On Wednesday there is a meeting for the general dentists and a meeting of the health industry OH&S group. On Thursday there is a meeting of the department's EBA executive working group. There's more NUM consultation also on that day, this time in Traralgon. And just a reminder that in September we'll be commencing our next round of regional and rural forums with a focus on the EBA review process. This is a chance for rural and regional members to contribute and participate in bargaining at the earliest stages. So we'll be asking members to identify those matters under existing agreements that they want to discuss. Those dates again are Albury-Wodonga on the 7th of September, Lorne on the 13th of September, Bairnsdale the 21st of September, Echuca on the 25th of September and Stawell on the 4th of October. As always, all of our activities are summarised through the VHIA community app. There's a full list of instructions available to you through the website if you have not yet activated or utilised your community app account. And that's it for this week's Industrial Roundup. Welcome to the weekly update, where we go in depth with a particular subject. And joining me for this week's discussion is a first-time appearance for Maria Kopilas, Workplace Relations Consultant. Welcome, Maria.
Thanks, Stuart.
Maria, I know this is your first time participating, but not your first time watching. So would you be good enough to reveal the clue that will indicate the subject for today's discussion?
Sure.
So you may need to just hold that up. And for the benefit of those people who are listening to this podcast rather than watching, could you describe the object?
So the object is a book, So Long Day's Journey into Night. I'm not sure what it is.
So on the basis of that clue, what would you say that the subject for today's discussion is?
Don't know. Shifts?
Shifts. So just to be fair there, for those who are listening, I have slightly modified the cover of this book, and we might just hold it up there, from A Long Day's Journey into Night Shift as such. But no, that is something of a misleading thing to do. It was just a play on words.
Right.
Any other thoughts?
I'm not sure.
Well, since this is your first time, I think it's fair that we go easy a little bit and just reveal the connection between this clue and our subject for today. So, A Long Day's Journey into Night is a Pulitzer Prize winning play by the playwright Eugene O'Neill, and plays are often performed in
theatres.
Which brings us to today's subject.
Theatre text.
Theatre text. Fun fact, Eugene O'Neill's great-granddaughter was a cast member of Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
There you go. And his daughter, Eugene O'Neill's daughter, married Charlie Chaplin.
Interesting.
Not directly relevant to our discussion today, though.
Perfect. So today we're talking about the theatre technician translations, and for those members that are watching today and with a copy of the agreement in front of them, could you outline which clauses we'll be speaking to today?
Absolutely. So we're talking about clause 101, that's found on page 118, the transition to the new theatre technician structure. Schedule 2D at Section 10, Theatre Technician Structure, which is found at page 177 to 181, and Clause 84, which is found on page 285, Instrument Technician and Theatre Technician Managers.
Okay. And Clause 101 provides a table which assists in the translation of the theatre technicians. Would you mind summarising the translations?
Let's get that table up on screen. So members there can see the table, which is also included in the agreement. There you've got the current classification in one column and then the new classification. You can see there the theatre technician grade 1 within the first 3 months stays at grade 1, and so on and so forth all the way to the end. There is also a management classification for beyond grade 6 employees who will be classified under Section 3 of the Management and Administrative Workers section of the agreement. And further information with regards to the management classification can be found at Clause 84 of Section 3.
So commencing with the grade 1 theatre technicians, so what are the key components with the revised classifications?
Yeah, so those people who are looking closely at that table will have noticed that there are 2 lines there with theatre technician grade 1, and there's a distinction drawn in terms of the level of experience, and that distinction is that those people who are with less than 3 months experience are the grade 1 technicians. However, after that point, they are then grade 2 technicians.
So the classification of grade 2 theatre technicians under the new structure are existing grade 1 classifications but have a greater than 3 months experience.
Yeah, look, there's the experience component, and I should just emphasise, if you're a grade 1, you've got to be supervised by either a grade 5 or a grade 6 theatre technician. But for the grade 2s, yes, you have more than that experience, but they're also to be supported in the completion of a Certificate 3 in Health Services Assistance, Operating Theatre Support.
Okay. And what are the key components of the revised grade 3 theatre technician structure?
Just looking back to that table before, people will have noticed that the grade 3 theatre technicians are the existing grade 2s.
Yep.
They translate to grade 3. Theatre technicians at this level will have 12 months experience and a Certificate 3 in the Health Service Assistance Operating Theatre Support. Grade 3 theatre technicians will be required to work under the immediate direction of an employee classified at grade 5 or higher, and this is higher than what was previously required.
I understand that the existing grade 2 classifications provided that a qualification in Cert 3 Health Services Assistance Operating Theatre Support was previously required as a base qualification.
That's correct. So in that sense, the requirements are consistent.
So under the new structure, the grade 3 theatre technicians will translate to grade 4 theatre technician classification. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is. And there's also an additional requirement that a grade 4 theatre technician will hold a certificate for, grade 4, certificate for in Health Service Assistance Operating Theatre Technical Support and have 12 months experience working as a theatre technician.
And I understand the grade 4 classification for the theatre technicians will now have the mentoring and supervision requirements removed from the descriptor.
Yeah, and this does represent a change. Under the current grade 3 theatre technician classification, they can mentor, train, supervise other technicians, but that can no longer occur under the new structure.
Okay, and the current grade 4 theatre technicians will translate to the grade 5 structure?
That's correct. So the new grade 5 theatre technician classification structure will require a minimum of the Certificate 4 in Health Service Assistance Operating Theatre Technical Support, same as grade 4, and 12 months experience working as a theatre technician. But the point of distinction for a grade 5 is that they're able to work in all areas of the operating suite and will be responsible for the supervision and training of junior technicians. A grade 5 can be appointed to management classifications in the absence of a manager or grade 6 under Section 3 of the agreement, and this will be the classification for theatre technicians who work across hospital sites and campuses.
And there's a new classification for grade 6 theatre technicians. What does that classification involve?
So the grade 6 theatre technician classification is very similar to the grade 5 theatre technician classification. It does provide that grade 6 has, though, completed specialty training in areas such as cell saving, laser, stealth, organ retrieval, or spinal care. Where a grade 6 has completed a diploma of anaesthetic paramedical science or relevant diploma of applied science, they may be responsible for the preparation, checking and general maintenance of specialist equipment used by the anaesthetist.
And there's been a number of questions from our members in relation to how we treat employees that are transferring from classifications where they don't have the minimum qualification under the new structure. Would you mind talking to that?
Certainly one of the most obvious challenges where a new structure is developed that has a minimum classification standard is what to do with regards to those people who don't have it. And we're currently engaged in discussions with the HWU with respect to how those employees will be translated, and we'll be after those discussions, developing and issuing a bulletin addressing that question, both for theatre technicians but also for instrument technicians as well.
So will we be keeping our members up to date following our discussions today?
Yeah, so we're mindful that that's probably a key issue that members will be mindful of, and it will impact the translation process. So yes, we'll be updating people through bulletins, but as always, what we do is when we have industry discussions, whether they be on this subject or through a service delivery partnership plan working group, we update and summarise that meeting through the app. So we would encourage all our members to just make sure that they're keeping an eye on the app because we're providing regular information through that platform.
Thank you, Stuart.
Maria, thank you for going through that for the first time. Well done. And I think we'll just finish with just a close-up there of Eugene O'Neill looking on approvingly onto the theatre tech structure.